What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
Mr. James Shue.
.com, and we're here for Miles Teller's Josh Brolin's
Only the Brave, which tells the story of the 2013 Yarnell Hill wildfire in which the firefighters who took the brave job of being the Mount Granite hotshots, which are, you know, this really big thing because they were the first time that a hotshots were able to be formed. Hotshots are people who first responded to forest fires and wildfires, and they were able to kind of make it their own. And these stories follow these 20 characters, Miles Teller, Josh Brolin, all led by Josh Brolin, who go and take on this really heavy feat.
Hell.
But yeah, absolutely. So it's a very intense movie. This movie based on a real life tragedy. I won't get into particulars if you don't know what happens, but
because I'm sure there's people that don't know.
I'd be surprised because I'm
one of them. There's two in front of me right now.
Well, you know. Anyway, I think anyone, you know, going in to see this has a feeling of what they're going to get into.
Forest fire.
Yeah, forest fire. That's based on a real life event in
Correct.
which sadly some people perished in.
That makes sense.
You know, so that is, you know, of course we and you talk about this a lot. You know, these movies that are kind of based on these real life tragedies. Stronger, which was really good because that was kind of a movie more about recovery, and not saying this movie has that opportunity because it's just not how it kind of works out, but Stronger is more about one character, where this movie is round about 3 or 4 particular characters of this hotshot troupe. And, well, the fight's really not most of the movie. The fight, the Yarnell Hill fire in 2013 really doesn't come into play probably the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, it's very much Titanic-esque in the sense that we are kind of introducing you to these characters before we kind of get into this tragedy. And I think that's kind of part of the problem, is that this movie really doesn't, it does what any monument or like documentary could kind of probably do much better, and just honoring these people and you know what risk they kind of have put on what they did with their lives. I mean, to do these crazy things, and I don't know, I mean, I've never encountered anything like a wildfire in California. I mean, like, ever been close to, so to know what these people are doing, it, you know, is fascinating enough kind of watching this. And when they are fighting fires and when they are in these really intense moments, I think the movie's at its height, but I think there is so much exposition, and they're trying to just kind of force feed you these, you know, most of these characters have these really basic arcs, like this character's this way, this character's that way. Josh Brolin, who I think's kind of good in this movie, does play like this, even though we really spend a lot of time with him. He plays this kind of heroic, I'm the guy that's, you know, that helps these guys and leads these guys. I'm gonna be that kind of archetype. Feels a bit stereotypical and doesn't feel like a complex real person. And you know, and again, you know, any movies that are kind of based on these real life tragedies, you just you kind of know what you're getting into, and people want to be inspired. We had the same feeling with Hidden Figures, and you know, Patriots Day. Another true story. Patriots Day, yep, also.
Another true story. Yep.
And
but
you know,
but they don't reveal the endings of those. They just true stories.
Well, again, you know, I mean, this is a movie where you have to know like what's going on, and anyone who paid attention. Well, Hidden Figures doesn't have a tragic ending that everyone talked about on the news. The great thing about Hidden Figures is that it was revealing a story that most people didn't know. Where this
just like I don't know the story of this one.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, as I said, it is a very much Titanic tragedy where we kind of are leading up to this very sad event that caused 19 firefighters to perish. 19 of the 20, and you know, as much as it is trying to honor and tribute these guys for what they're doing and you know, what they put on the line, it wastes a lot of times to get there, and I feel like it was like I said, it was no different than watching like this kind of monument or reading this plaque of what these guys did. It doesn't never feel really super engaging until we're kind of in those forest fires. And I think that you could have made a much shorter movie and a much more intense movie focusing on one character, opposed to multiple that are very lightly complex, or not really round, but more just flat. I think, this is one of those kind of movies where most people will go in and be touched and inspired with But I just think I've always said I think people have a hard time separating the piece of work that's being made and the true story. And I think the true story is very inspiring, and these guys, what they did was unbelievable. But that doesn't necessarily make the movie great. It's just using their story, and what it does technically and physically as a film. I don't think it pushes any boundaries or does anything spectacular.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Next week,
Jigsaw.
the return of Saw franchise.
Yeah, we're a little ways down in the
off?
future. Yeah, they took. Well, it's been maybe even more than 2 years. It feels like it's been a while. But now we're jumping in the future. I believe we're a little bit ways away. From
Like
after.
future?
Not like sci-fi future,
Oh, okay.
but like I think we're like 10 years down the road from where we left off. And then we have. Thank you for.
Do
your
I
service.
have to understand? Do I have to remember 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Well, I don't know with the new one because it looks like there's not anyone familiar in the trailers at least. But Saw being that every character is important, and like there could be a character from the first movie you forgot was in the first movie, but it's in the fourth movie. Or
Dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah,
dun,
I would think it'd be
dun,
good
dun,
to
dun.
refresh yourself if you're going to get into it. I know
And
that's,
then you're going to be doing...
that's why I'm going to be doing Saw Week, which for the next 7 days I'm going to be doing a Saw movie a day. I'll be talking about them. You can follow me on Twitter at Chasing Cinema or at Jacob Tiranno, and I'll be talking about one each day to kind of revamp everybody and get everyone ready. And so I'll know exactly what's going on. But this could be a completely different, removed thing. I'm really excited to see where they go.
You're going to watch part 1 over?
I'm gonna watch them all over.
Number 1 I remember.
Number
That's the
one
only
is
I remember.
number one is the best one to watch.
That ending is just like...
Yeah, and I mean they of course got
there the whole time.
they of course got much worse, as they went on.
They haven't
and
been great,
they're
Just
very
being honest.
flawed.
And
But
I like them.
But as a whole, in like that last 15 minutes when Charlie Clouser's theme hits on, what I mean?
Dun 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 dun.
There's nothing that reminds me more of Halloween, because for the past before the break 8 years in a row there was just Saw every Halloween, and finally we get that tradition back.
It should be good.
Thank you for service. Also, Miles Teller, who was really good in this movie, I think. Probably the best thing about it. We also have Suburbicon,
Matt Damon,
which is set to open.
George
and then I
Clooney.
think a few other smaller movies are set to release. So it's going to be a fun week next week. But let's get in the Halloween spirit. Let's get ready for Saw.
We also did a review for...
The Snowman.
Yes, with Michael Fassbender.
Yes.
And I didn't know Val Kilmer's in the movie.
Yeah, Val Kilmer's
So that's
also in
interesting,
it. J.K. Simmons.
Yep.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Who I look forward to.
So make sure to go check out that review. Click that white eye up there.
That way
And-
people can decide which one they need to watch this week.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because that's not up to you, Chasing. And it's not up to me for them.
That's true, if you wanted to see it. But at the same time, sometimes you should just take our word for it.
Love it. ChasingCinema.com's notice.
The Film Lovers website.